started. Let me just adjust my mic a wee bit. Okay. Yeah, we're good. We're good now, I think. How's that sound? How's the sound for you, chat? What if I come a little bit closer? How is that? A blessing on you and yours. Thank you, Pichu. Hello, Christian. Hello, Pichu. Not listening. Okay. Can I hear that? That's odd. All right. What about now? Can you hear that? Should though. I shouldn't have touched this, but as I did the other day. Are you sure you cannot hear me? A bit low volume. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing here. Interestingly enough. All right, let me just fix it. I'll be right back, Richa. Just a wee second. I've returned, and apparently it should be fixed now. But you let me know. Yeah, accordingly, everything's better. Yeah, better. Thank you, Christian, for granting me your blessings. They are of much importance for me this afternoon of Monday. Yeah, as I told you, I think I mentioned this before, like, and either on the stream yesterday or on the stream on Saturday, but I've been implementing, trying to fix like touching bips and boops with a ZRF, which, by the way, if you're not aware by this point, it's my microphone over here. Yeah, I name my things. That's who I am. But you knew this already. So yeah, I've been touching upon certain things with ZRF to make the volume a little bit better. Hey, Captain Rabbit, always enthusiastic. It's a great pleasure having you here. Hoping you enjoy. I don't know if you've been in one of my regular streams before, Captain Rabbit, have you? But yeah, I've been touching things with ZRF, with the microphone to create a better atmosphere and to create a better volume. And yeah, apparently they worked, at least for the past two streams. Something was not working right now, but I fixed it. So yeah, problem solved. And may I say, just hold on for a minute, that I'm wearing one of my favorite t-shirts ever. Nothing to do with music, but I just like it. Let me show you. Yes, cloned to be wild. We stand with the Empire in this house. The Stormtroopers are just my jam. I love them. They resonate so much with me as people that really try their best, but gets crushed by the good guys, which are always, well, because they're just the good guys. But really, I am that kind of person. I am. I am that kind of person that prefers the bad guys regularly because they have, I reckon they have more interesting stories to tell. Might just be me. But how are you, Bacha? How was your weekend? I hope you have a very nice, restful weekend. Mine was okay. It was really fun playing Honor with you. You stand with the Mandalorians. I actually like them a lot. Boba Fett is one of my favorite characters ever. Maybe we should talk about Star Wars in one of the teas. What do you reckon? What do you reckon? Yeah, just to kick off this beautiful Monday on March, we are going to talk about music and mythology, because I have, if you're not aware, I am what Pichu likes to name mythologist, because I work with mythology and I work with birds. No birds for this tale, I'm afraid, but some mythology for sure. I just cannot separate mythology from what I regularly do because that's my job. I do mythology for a living. How cool is that? So, today, it's not a god, at least not canonically, but he is certainly a god for me. I finally got me a better job. I had to highlight just because I'm excited to start this week. I'm no longer going to be working on a job that will get me killed. Woohoo! Congratulations. We cheer you up. Thank you for the cheer. And I'm so proud of you. Yeah, Good job, Captain Robert. We are very, very happy about your progress. So excited for you to start this week. Did you start today, or are you starting later, or how does it go? Yeah, congratulations to you. Good job. Oh, I'm so proud of my bacha. I'm so proud of my bacha accomplishing things in life in general. Excuse me if I move a little bit too much, but I am excited about things to come this week. And I was saying that today, accompanying us, there is someone. He's not canonically a god, but he certainly is to me. We have Uncle Iroh from Avatar: The Last Airbender. If you haven't watched Avatar: The Last Airbender, you should. Definitely should. And yeah, this is one of my favorite mugs. Iroh is my favorite character from Avatar, and every time I have white tea, which is the one I'm drinking now, I feel inclined to use this mug. I actually have no idea why, because Iroh's favorite tea is, yes, Kupuru, Uncle Iroh. Let me get like a close-up. Whatever. My dyslexia's not happening. Ooh, okay. The Last Airbender is my shit. Okay, what nation do you go to? Because thank you. Cheers to you. Wait. I shall cheer with Kupuru. Cheers. It's scalding water. I already burnt my tongue last week. I'm not going to do it again. Which nation is your favorite nation? Because mine definitely is either air or a fire nation. I only come to say hello. Tell me why I don't like Mondays. No, stay. No soy ro. Stay, and we will make the Monday better together. Together we'll stand. Earthbender for life. I like that. I like earthbending. I mean, Toph is one of my best characters ever created. I will die on that hill. She's. Do you want? All right. So on Saturday, Toph is like my spirit character. Ain't it? She is just fantastic. All right. On Saturday, we'll talk. We'll fangirl over Avatar: The Last Airbender. I have a topic ready for Saturday. See, this is what we call organization. I love my community here. That's what I do. Which country fits better with Nana and with Gilgamesh? I would say Nana would be an airbender, and Gilgamesh definitely would be an earthbender. But that's just my saying. Either an earthbender or a firebender for Gilgamesh. And Nana would definitely be an airbender, because he's so chill, he's so cool. Oh my god, we're going to talk about Nana. So, yeah, let me just start. Team Cow forever! So, let me start as we usually do. Welcome, Hosh Omadid. Welcome everybody to this Monday stream of Las Plumas de Simur. My name is Plumas, and I'm going to be your host for the evening, this musical evening where we're going to talk about two very important concepts in ancient Mesopotamia, music and divinity. I cannot wait, legit. But first, let me address my beautiful people. Thank you to everyone who's followed the channel. Thank you to everyone that subscribed. You help me greatly with your subscriptions. This is the way I keep going and creating content for you. Twice a week, which is not bad, huh? It's not bad. And thank you to my beautiful Patreon family, my family from Patreon, my Tir Murshid and Tir Ashdod. Especially shout out to them, because they know something big news are coming, and they know already, and I just love them. I really like my family on Patreon. We have such a beautiful community, same as we do here on Twitch, and I just want to thank them for the support. As always, they are the reason I am here today. And like Taurens. I like Taurens too. Yeah, it was hot tea. I want tea, but I don't want. Alright, I'm gonna test. Just a tiny test. It's not as bad. It's drinkable. It's not water from a volcano, right? So yeah, thank you to everyone who's followed the channel, who's please subscribe, and thank you for the donations that we happen to have like one off camera. Thank you so much for that. And yeah, all the information about this channel you shall find down below in the panels. And now we're gonna just dive into it. I have so many things to share with you, Bacha, and we're going to talk about music. We're going to talk about music, and why, you might ask, because it really, well, first of all, I don't know if you were aware of this, but if you are one of my patrons, you can actually choose what's to come. This is one of the topics my patrons chose. They can vote for the content of the coming streams, and they chose, you wanted this, and you wanted this so badly, so you ask, Plumas delivers. Music is it gonna be? We're gonna talk about music in ancient Mesopotamia, close with the concept of divinity and divine. Music actually has accompanied humankind since the earliest as we can imagine. Music inspires, music guides, music enlightens the spirits. And if you are half as a melomaniac as I am, Bachar, this will for sure resonate with you. I just have to have music playing when I'm working. I am a goat. I mean, I love goats. Why am I a goat? I don't know, Captain Robin, what that stands for, but for sure, we love goats. We stand with animals here. I am the goat. Toss a coin to your mythologist, oh valley of plenty. The greatest of all time. Oh, as they said the lamb, you warm my heart. Thank you, so yeah. The greatest of them all. No, I'm actually not. You make me the greatest. So yeah, I was saying I am a very severe melomaniac. I have to have music playing constantly when I'm working, when I'm reading, when I'm playing. It's when I'm doing the dishes and the house chores. I just have to have music playing. Music is part of our lives. And this is not something we have come up with recently. I personally believe, and this is personal, that since humans developed the ability to emit sounds, they started singing. Because there is just so much that can be transmitted through song. And before we start, oh yeah, Captain Rabbit is same as me. You get listen to 8 or 9 albums a day. For sure, soundtracks on the background all the time. I've been binge listening to the soundtrack of Hollow Knight because even though Bob disagrees with me, and I can say this because he's not around, I'm going to start playing Hollow Knight again soon. Don't know when, but I for sure will. I'm going to do that. I don't know if you would like me to stream that, but I am so going to play Hollow Knight. So, all right, sorry. Just before we start, there's just a heads up. Work has been piling up quite noticeably later, so this stream might not be as long as others, but I never measured my work based on length, rather based on content, so I hope you will enjoy it. Anyway, I quite enjoyed researching this topic. It made me realize how little I know about so many things. The ancient Near East still holds many wonders to discover. The first song was a bunch of Neanderthals grunting. Hey, but you know what, Jeremy? I love death metal, so grunting peeps are my jam. Music can be a strong messenger of the feelings. It is, and we shall see it today. So, today we shall venture into the world of music inside the ancient Near East. Ancient Near Eastern cultures. In fact, this was going to be... Right, so when I thought about this stream, it was going to be like a vague introduction on music in general. But then after some research, I decided to separate the religious/mythological part for this stream, and we can discuss the other part some of the time. But of course, saying the ancient Near East is ambitious as it is vague. For the first thing we always do in these live streams is specifying the context, the time frame we shall be covering. I would love to talk more extensively about all areas, and I mean that for sure, particularly about Elam, that still is too foreign to my knowledge for my own taste. But since the Sumerians and Akkadians are the ones I know a little bit better, we will stick with them, and still a better time frame must be defined, because in Sumerian and Akkadians are not regular, I'm not doing that. That idea, the music bomb with sound, evoke me of Neonimus. Is that a band you like, Christian? Sometimes I really like asking you questions, because you, Bachar, make me realize about how little I know about so many things, and I love learning. I'm eager to learn new things. So when you mention things, do not expect me to know exactly what you're addressing. Rather, explain them to me. Make me a listener too. Make me a learner too. I believe that theropod must have had the ability to sing. I couldn't start living in this world anymore if that isn't true. Is that a dinosaur? I know about mythological creatures, but not so much about dinosaurs. One of my best friends, though, he is a really big dinosaur fan. So, yeah. All right, we're gonna go. You're never done learning. That's the best thing about knowledge. Exactly. There's my kiwi. Yeah, there's my kiwi. I love it. Neonimus is an ancient prehistoric music recreator. Ooh, that sounds so cool. Oh, I did 23 and me. and found out I'm a little Mesopotamia. What is the 23? Is that your age, or is that what are you referring to, Liz? Ooh, Liz, thank you so much for the follow. Liz 5499. Yeah, when you put numbers on your nicknames, I swear that my heart skips a bit because I have a little bit problem with reading numbers, so I just need to stop and focus a little bit. So you're Sicilian. Ooh, beautiful country. Then we're cousins. We're all Mediterranean vibes. It's a DNA test. Interesting. And you have... Ooh, I like it. I like that a lot. So what we're going to be covering today, roughly, is 3 millennia of music evolution and content. That is the civilizations of Sumer and Akkad. I know it's not exactly defined since many different things happened in 3,000 years. So bear with, patience is on the table. This is not going to be exactly specific, but specific within the possibilities. And something to note is that these societies, Sumerian and Akkadian, are thought to have witnessed the development of 3-node system. Hello, Typhoon! Don't worry, you're not late. As we are just gonna start. We're just gonna start talking. And as I was saying, there's a lot of written history was lost and forgotten. Definitely, this is something we should not forget. Oh, the song of summer music, the worst moo. Moo? Is that a moo? Where's my tame cow? So, this is something important. These societies, like Sumerian and Akkadian, they are thought to have witnessed the development of 3-node systems. First of all, we have... Is it here? Yeah. First of all, we have the 5-node system. The pentatonic started in Sumer according to Richard Dumbrill, and later the Akkadians experimented the change into, drum roll please, the 7-node system, the heptatonic, the heptatonism, the heptatonic scale. And then we have a further one developed, which is the 9-node system. This is the enneatonism. The heptatonic system, the one you have over here on screen, this is the basis for our own modern musical system, by the way. The 7 notes we have currently, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, and in case you don't remember those, we can always sing The Sound of Music together. Do you know what I'm talking about? Do, a, dear. Do you? Come on, sing with me. Let's see if I can't remember, because I mix the lyrics in Spanish and in English when I sing. I'm trying to keep in English as much as I can. Do, a deer, a female deer, re, a drop of golden sun, mi, a name I call myself, fa, a long, long way to run, so I need a pulling thread, la, a note to follow, so, tea, a drink and jam and bread, and that brings us back to do, 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 a deer, a female deer. That is so catchy, for hell's sake. So in case all of these, this heptatonic, nenatonic, pentatonic, sounds a little bit confusing, let me briefly explain. The node system that I'm talking about is a scale. The usual one, the one we use currently to teach and to learn music, is the heptatonic with 7 notes. Again, the one you have on screen right now. And don't worry, there was also the pentatonic, which had 5 notes, and is the one I've shown before, and the enneatonic with 9 notes. Don't worry, this is as musicologists as we are going to become today. But it's interesting to note that these things existed because those systems developed in Mesopotamia are at the core of what we use today to create music. And I think that is fascinating. What is that, Christian? A film with a horrible title translation to Castilian Spanish. Well, I mean, we have what we have. I still like the songs. And as predicted, it's in my head now. Do, a deer, a female deer. Like, so, we have to bear something in mind, okay? And this is really important. Saying that a 7-node system was developed in Mesopotamia does not mean that we are still using that system today. Sure, we're using something similar, but we're not using exactly the same one. Do not believe our notes were their notes. We're talking about millennia of history, Butcher, and we, here in this stream, we always highlight that change happens. And very often in history, more often than sometimes we realize it happens. For it is natural to things to shapeshift, to adapt, to merge, and to eventually become different. And also, did you know, because I didn't, did you know that the musical notation of Sumer and Akkad was syllabic? That means they named their notes with syllables. With syllables, not with letters, same as the language system, with syllables and not with independent letters. I thought it was particularly interesting to mention, and this is different from ancient Greece, for example, who noted, they noted their melodies alphabetically. What do you think? In music theory, of course, it was a bass clef, and in most countries today we use AG. Yes, we still use AG, but they're still based on this 7-note scale. Film title localization to Spanish is an art, it deserves its own stream. You know what, Pichu? We're so gonna do that. We're so gonna do that. So, we are definitely gonna do that. So one of the first, alright. So, one of the earliest examples we have of written music are the Hurrian hymns. And they are from around the 2nd millennium before Common Era. We're talking about 1400 before Common Era. And the lyrics were written using syllabic Babylonian cuneiform. The Hurrian hymns, these Hurrian songs, as they are also known, they are a collection of ancient songs written for the deities. This is the first point I wanted to highlight. This is what we're talking about here are songs exclusively dedicated to deities, to gods and goddesses. One of the most important ones is the one dedicated to the goddess Nikal, a deity that would become prominent in Ugarit and later in Phoenicia. And if we had to give her an attribute, she would be the goddess of fertility and fruit. And this is where we're first going to stop. Forgive me, had to drink tea. This is where we're first going to stop in our discussion on music and the divine. Music in Mesopotamia, which was much more than just an artistic expression. The connection with the religious aspects of life was due to the capability of music to suggest and convey emotions. Music was an indispensable element in the religious expression, and this is not something exclusive of the ancient Near East. It happened in many different cultures throughout history, and in fact, it still happens nowadays. Plumas, I would love to say, because this is up my alley. I'll definitely watch later. Gotta take my grandfather to his appointment. Ciao, bella, for now. Ciao! Don't worry, you're scusati. Yeah, take care, and hello to your grandfather. I need to push up my Italian, but to communicate with you. What was I saying? Oh yeah, that I'm saying that music is an indispensable element for the religious expression, and this is not something that just belonged to the past. Bye, Pichu! Thank you for popping by. It was lovely seeing you. And this phenomenon of mixing music and religious manifestations and religious rituals still happens nowadays. Take, for example, the spinning dervishes. They spin at the rhythm of drums or different instruments. And in the case of Mesopotamian mythology, music was something that transcended spheres and realms. Because according to the myths, it could be understood by all beings. Humans, deities, spirits, and demons. It served as a way of communication. Therefore, humans used music to communicate precisely with higher realms in an attempt to influence the supernatural. You know, pleasing the gods, summoning demons, exorcising said demons. Everything is an attempt of humanity. This communication with supernatural is an attempt of humanity to modify it, to influence and to have a tiny bit of a saying in something that has fascinated generations and generations, that is the future, having just this power to modify and to intervene in the development of the tomorrow. Excuse me as I get carried away, because this is so up my alley, as Captain Rabbit was saying. So, the supernatural had a close relationship with social elites, and in this case, based on archaeological evidence, we can establish a correlation between the former and the latter. Allow me to break this down for you and to drink tea. Over half of the total number of known depictions of music playing at the early dynastic period of Ur, for example, that is between 2600 and 2350 for Common Era, I think, they come from the royal cemetery of Ur. I don't know if you're familiar with the standard of Ur. Have you ever seen these pieces before? Is this the first time? These what I'm saying here is based on the numbers the scholar Jack Chen provides in his study. We're talking about the instruments that were found here. Do you know, by any chance, who this person is? And what is he carrying? Such a nice tea, by the way. Good job, Bird and Blend. This lovely gentleman over here is Sir Leonard Woolley, excavating the tombs at the Ur cemetery, and that he's carrying is one of the 3 lyres that were found there. The lyres they're really pretty. Yeah, I mean, we're talking about the instruments that were found there in the cemetery, but also, as I was showing you before, we're talking about music scenes, not just particularly musical instruments or musicians. We're talking about scenes of represented music playing. These visual representations of musicians doing their job. And for example, this one, the so-called Standard of Ur, where we can find this player over here and perhaps a singer next to them. And I am saying perhaps because about these figures run a good number of hypotheses, and this is just one of them, that the person close to the musician is in fact a singer. It could be an assistant, it could be a courtier, it could be nobody, it could be everybody. We don't know for sure. This is just one of them. This is one of the hypotheses. So these wealthy spheres of society could afford being represented and buried through musical instruments as a sign of their economical and social power. So, for a very long time, the music was able to be studied, like the music we were able to study was that made for the elites. And these elites were the ones in closest contact with the supernatural, for they occupied relevant positions for doing so. Priesthood, kingship, and all that jazz. And excuse me, the musical pun, completely non-intended. Laris and beer. Ur was the ancient island. Better. It was Ur. I think it's better. You're entirely entitled to disagree with me, but I think it's better. So, what kind of religious practices included music? There's not a massive number of sources on this, but in fact we have some data. Majorly, the musical activity to connect with the deities would have to do with laudatory and praising to the higher beings. However, we have also instruments used for lamentation. It's not the most uplifting usage for them, I have to agree, but we do, to be fair, we do tend to sing when we are upset to express our feelings. Well, they did too. So, some musical instruments appear directly connected with mythological episodes. Just let me show you. Where do I have it? Where's it gone? Let me just show you one. We have a passage. There we have it. We have a passage from Inanna and Enki where she is bestowed with the me or mes, the cultural norms, the civilization roots. That what makes humankind human. Different to animals, just as like the spark of civilization. She, Inanna, I don't know if you are aware of this, but Inanna, she is also known as Ishtar, and she is the goddess of the vespertine star, and she is goddess of war, she is goddess of love, she is goddess of sex, and she is one of the daughters of Enki in this mythological cycle at least, and she is very relevant to the Sumero-Akkadian pantheon. She is later known as Ishtar. Maybe that one rings a bell later. I prefer Inanna, that's just a personal preference. And she's a very relevant deity and a fascinating one, if you ask me. She is just fantastic to study and to read about. So, Inanna is to bring this me to Uruk, and the city of Uruk in Mesopotamia, between the Tigris and the Euphrates, closer to the banks of the Euphrates, if I'm not mistaken. And she is to make humans there in Uruk worship her in this new musical manner. Her is gonna teach humans how to worship her better, and in order to do so, humans need to learn to play music. How to play music with instruments she is providing them. Here on screen, you have a shot over there from an article by Dahlia Shehata, and she translated the list of instruments Enki and Inanna mentioned. You, Inanna, have brought with you the holy Tegi, holy lilies, Uv, Meze, and Ala. We're going to talk about some of them in just a wee bit. So in this context, they are referring to instruments that would belong into a temple, or at least in a religious context. Remember, Inanna, this is very important. Inanna is to bring these instruments to Uruk for humans to praise her. So you can see the correlation between worship and divinity, music, worship, divinity. Like, you can see it, this connection. Deities were the creators of this musical idea, and then they transmitted it to humankind so they could be adored in a better way. Do you remember Enki? Do you remember Enki, the most beloved jackass from Mesopotamian pantheon? No? Alright, Enki is also known as Ea, and he's the god of the primordial waters, and he's the god of many things, of arts and crafts. He's the god of civilization. He has a gazillion of daughters and sons, some of them sprouting from his own body, and he's a jackass, and I say that with lots of love, because we love Enki in this project. And oh my god, this brings me so many memories. Do you, Bacha, remember, were you here when we I think it was almost a year ago, when we listed the most important Mesopotamian deities, and Enki was one of the first on the list, because Enki is just too cool for school. He's just too cool not to be mentioned. So yeah, he's a little bit of a reckless creature. I mean, Enki used to create and model with his own hands all sorts of creatures and monsters, and then if you consider them to be failed, he just would toss them into the world. And that's from we get monsters. That's we get monsters from. That was just hilarious. So these jackass, Enki, he was also the one to establish he was the one to establish the cult. Just let me find the image. Where do I have it? Aquí. We have it. Enki was the one to install in every temple two instruments in particular, the Shem and the Ala. We learn from this other passage, this time, from Enki's journey to Nibiru. We can see here, Enki had oxen slaughtered and had sheep offered there lavishly. Where there was no Allah, he installed it in its place. Where there was no bronze Shem, he dispatched it to its place. So, we can see here the combo between these two instruments, the Shem and the Allah. It appears also in many other literary sources that tells us of a well-established position within the temple, or at least inside religious circles and worshippers, of these two instruments. I cannot make a stream. Alright, so I cannot make a stream without bringing up Nana. Do I have? Here we have Nana. I mean, you have to see Nana. It's not Inanna. That is one of them. But the one we're talking about right now here is Nana or Suen or Sin, the moon god. I just cannot make a stream about Mesopotamian mythology and not bringing him up. He's my personal favorite, and as I am saying, he is the moon god. This beautiful rendition here is by the artist Yigrit Koroglu, and I just love it. It's just one of my favorite representations of Nana ever. He's just like, exactly, Christian, we are team Nana. I should have worn my moon. Doesn't matter, the moon is always there. In fact, the moon is already out. Hello, Nana. I hope you're enjoying the stream. I'm talking about you. So, music appeared to be of his liking as well. And the Shem and the Allah made the way into Nana's temple at Ur. No. So he's like the Conehead film protagonist. I will excuse you for that, Kupuru. You shall not speak in such manners, in such ways, of this beautiful, gorgeous creature, which is Nana. I'm gonna let that go because you liked Ido, and because I cheered with you, and because I love you dearly. Shem and Allah might be horn and drum. Not quite, but you got close. Team Nana, of course, it comes with Team Cow. Yes, I mean, if you are a member of the Team Cow, just logically, following a logical pattern, you have to be Team Nana. Just, Nosotros knows. He knows. So, what are the Shem and Allah? What are these? Let's start with the first one. Let's start with this first one. Do I have a representation of this? Okay, it's been so difficult to find images of this because guess what? We don't have any. Yay! So, where was it? Is this one? Is this one? Yeah, we're gonna use this one. Okay. So, there are many descriptions of the materials of the Shem, and bronze and copper are often mentioned. According to Kilmer, which is another scholar, it is a metal drum with a skin drum head. See these modern drums here? So the part, let me see. Oh no, you cannot see. You cannot see my mouse in here, can't you? So the drum head is the bone-colored part. That is the part you stomp to create sound. That in the Shem would be of animal skin, and then the surrounding body would be of either copper or bronze, according to our descriptions. The outer ring, can you see that? The outer ring would be made of metal. And yeah, as I'm saying, bronze or copper are very, very popular. And we find for the skin, we have normally oxen skin or goat skin. Goat is like less mentioned, but it appears. And then we have the Allah. And according to scholars, this is supposed to be a drum as well, but it's the most intriguing and mysterious of them all. Many tablets mention the Allah and its importance among religious festivities and celebrations. One of the most important ones, for example, are comments about the temple of Ningal, the goddess of reed and the great lady of Sumerian mythology. By the way, the consort of Nana, yes, I have to mention him. I have to mention him just every time, bear with me. So we know from the sources that the Allah drum, the drum hide was rubbed with oil to preserve the skin and keeping it from drying. And the sources specify how a greater quantity of oil had to be destined to the maintenance of these drums. So you can imagine their importance. Oil was precious, Butcha. Then we have it, the Shem and the Allah. And then we have another instrument. Then we have the lilies, a sort of kettle drum, apparently, with a bronze sound box. These were covered in color, with red colored dye, which was a big deal. We'll talk about that in a second. These drums were dedicated to specific deities, and they were brought into the temples by kings themselves. But this is something only the Babylonians did. So scholars believe that it is a hint for a possible Babylonian origin of the instrument. Maybe, we don't know for sure. Their part was an important one to be played, since the sound of the lilies was used to prevent misfortune and negative predictions, kind of to send the bad spirits away, the bad juju away. You just slam these drums and I will be all up for it, let me tell you. Now, there's another instrument I wanted to tell you about today. And I'm going to leave the screen black. You will see why in a second. The instrument I wanted to talk about is that one called balag. And I sweetly nicknamed it the Heart Soother, after everything I read. This is not something you will see in scholarly publications. That is my own nickname for it. This really stayed in my memory and made me understand to what extent music and divinity were connected in ancient Mesopotamia. So, we have the balag, and this is possibly one of the most difficult instruments to identify, track, and reconstruct of them all. But we know something, that it enjoyed the highest position among other musical instruments. This was the instrument butcher, and it was a sad one. The balag belonged to the category of lamentation music. Do you remember the Shem and the Allah? These were for praising, for laudatory, cheerful temple music, to kind of make the gods happy, to cheer them up. The balag, however, served as an instrument for a sadder tone of music, this lamentation, this toning down and the deities. The songs played using the balag had the same name. Everything has the same name, balag, and they were considered sacred. To the point that the drums received and were presented offerings, animal sacrifices, libations, blood was offered to these drums. They were worshipped as a key element in the relationship between the earthly existence and the higher realms. We have mentions of them being wood, being leather, being bronze, and sometimes the drum heads were of bull skin dyed red. You remember I said red, like dyeing things red was a big deal? It was the color of deities, of the supernatural. They were so powerfully intertwined with the deity of their temple that they even received proper names. Names! How important must be a drum for you to give it a name and offer it perfume, food, blood, even blood from animals. This is just fascinating. The balag was a cultic object, so deeply rooted with the deity's personality that played its part in the rituals. In fact, deities were entitled to more than one, and the more balags you accumulated, the better, the most powerful god or goddess you were. They would be placed in front of the deity's image and close to the high priest in some occasions, other times close to the kings themselves. Some letters from Mari tell us that it was decorated with silver and gold. Can you imagine the silver and gold and then these red dye? So yeah, I mean, am I explaining myself? Am I making clear how important this instrument was? Now, for the question you for sure might be asking yourself, Plumas, what is a balag? I mean, what kind of instrument is this one? This mysterious thing? So, as I mentioned before, its identification is tricky, to say the least, because it refers to so many things at the same time that it's difficult to say clearly or bluntly what it was. Scholars believe it was a type of drum. Scholars believe it was a drum, a very special one. Maybe a cylindrical one. Maybe, but I want to emphasize the hypothetical of this statement. We don't know. This is still being discussed in the present. I read many articles solely discussing the identification of the balag. We just don't know. Apparently it was a drum. Apparently it was, but we don't know for certain. We would never. Apparently I don't know. So, yeah, as I said, this is still being discussed in the present. So who am I to throw any conclusions? If the experts say that maybe the balag was a drum, I am blindly following them. I'm believing them. So why have I named it the heart soother? Soother of hearts. Well, because of a mythological episode. Surprise! I'm gonna bring here a sad story. The city of Akkad was cursed. And because of that, Enlil, one of the biggest gods in the Mesopotamian pantheon, Enlil, god of the wind storm, like the storm wind, and as I say, head of the pantheon, he decided to destroy the city entirely. So you can imagine the bloodshed. In order to appease the heart of Enlil after the massacre, the priests and a choral orchestra formed by old women and old men performed, led by the priest that played the balag that eventually soothed the angry god's heart. He even engaged with the reconstruction of the temples and houses after that. How sweet of him. So, you see how powerful this instrument was. Am I the only one who's driven by this? Maybe I am. I just don't care. I'm having the time of my life. I had the time of my life researching this for you, Butcher. I hope you are liking it as much as I am. The balag appears not to be just an instrument, but a religious concept of its own. They were personified, given names, offered sacrifices and religious performance. A drum. They could even develop this is great. They could even develop their own personalities to the point where we have the balag deities. That is divinities, gods and goddesses that have sprouted from the concept of a sacred instrument and have turned into an independent god or goddess. How cool is that? Is it just me? This was the whole idea behind this live stream, Butcher, presenting you with a powerful connection music and the pantheon had in Sumer and Akkad. And in the top of these just fantastic ladder, this magical part, at the top we have Enki. This is a beautiful rendition of Enki by the artist Ekaterina Chesalova, and I love it. Go check out her art station. She has beautiful content on Mesopotamian deities. And I put this one here because I don't know if he's watching, but my patron, David, and my dear Bache, he's really fond of Enki. So I thought, why not putting him in? Yeah. And the top of this musical interaction, as I was saying, we have Enki. The master of these guys, the jackass, and the one who actually got the ball rolling on the first place. Remember, he created the me, or mess, and he bestowed it. He bestowed that upon humanity. Music and musical instruments were included in that bunch of cultural civilization things. And then he placed the instruments in every temple, every single one, teaching the priests how to play them to please the gods and goddesses. That, Butcher, is not but a way humankind was granted with to be able to modify, affect, and alter the feelings of the divinities, thereby having the possibility to change the destiny of humankind as a whole. In conclusion, Enki was giving us the possibility to become closer to the higher realms. He was the ultimate cause for music being as fundamental as it is currently. Enki, old jackass and playful bastard, gave humanity the key to the deity's heart. And then probably he opened a jar of wine, sat down, and enjoyed the rest of the show, because from there onwards, it was just a very big mess. Thank you so much for coming to the stream. This is as far as we are gonna go today. I hope you enjoyed it. I certainly had a blast researching this, because as I was saying before, I had no idea of these things, and I could see, the further I read, I could see the powerful connection between worship, between religious expression and music as a channel of communication. And then if you read the sources, and if you see how important instruments were, and not just instruments, musical performances, music was played in absolutely every single aspect of life. Remember, we were keeping the religious one for this stream particularly, but it's been impressive. It's been a ride that I've certainly enjoyed to its most. And now I hope you did too. I don't know if there's any further questions you would like to ask. I personally hope you enjoyed it. I certainly did. And yeah, if there's no further questions, if you search in reference to Enki and Enlil enough, you will find ancient aliens. I mean, it had to be brought up. Christian was the one to do it. Yes, exactly. You will find references about aliens and the misuse of the word Anunnaki, which is not definitely understood properly by these people who believed in aliens, but they're entitled to their own beliefs. I mean, if that makes them happy. Here, though, we play serious history and we do other kind of research. So, yeah, no aliens are gonna be... No aliens were harmed in the making of the stream, and no aliens were part of the making of the stream. I sincerely apologize. I know you must be so disappointed by now, but what am I to do? I'm just a human being. Reality is better than a bad alien story. So I believe. But yeah, if there's nothing further from you, but chat, it's been my almost pleasure. Thank you for the people who's joined. Thank you for the people who's come to say hello. I love seeing your faces and enjoy talking with you. Remember, if you want to have a chill tea time with me on Saturdays at 3 p.m. GM time, that is the UK time, by the way. I am on Twitch. Thank you, Kapuru. It's been great seeing you. I haven't seen Kapuru in a while, I have to say. So yeah, if you want to have a chill sesh of tea with me on Saturdays at 3 p.m. UK time, I'm normally here and we talk about a lot of different things. And we decided with Captain Rabbit and Pichu that next Saturday we're talking about like fangirling to the extreme about Avatar: The Last Airbender. You still have time. You haven't watched it. You can catch up from here to Saturday. Do like a proper marathon. Don't kill yourself doing that. But yeah, it's been a pleasure. And since we've been talking about music, we are gonna say goodbye. Thank you, Butcha, for coming to the stream. I am very happy for you to be here. I really hope you enjoyed it. And yeah. In case this is the first time you see something related as such, hello, this is Las Plumas de Simur, and I am Plumas, your birdie host, your favorite and trusty mythologist. Thank you to all the people who follow the channel. Thank you to all the people who subscribe to the channel. And I shall see you. If you want to come to the Spanish live stream, maybe you do speak two languages. That happens on Thursday. And if not, we are not expect anything from the goat. I am a goat indeed. And if you want to come to the Saturday Plumas Royalty, I shall be there waiting for you to come. It's always been my pleasure. And remember, as we say normally when we say goodbye to each other, create, explore, and have tons of fun. And until we see each other next time, bacha, Khodafez!